enough meditation, you'll come to the conclusion, the same conclusion as anybody else who does on deep. And I don't mean meditate. I just mean contemplate, turning the truth over in your mind. You'll find out that time doesn't exist. You'll find out that space doesn't exist. Everything's a projection. Anything that you can think that you're in, you're probably in. If you think you're in a dream, you're in a dream. If you think you're in a video game, you're in a video game. If you think you're in a washing machine, you are in a washing machine. If you think you're in a war zone, yeah, you're in a war zone, a spiritual war zone. Whatever you think that you might be in, yeah, that's part of it. It's multidimensional. A lot of people look at life from one perspective, but it's multidimensional. It's happening all the time at the same time. And so can you be in a washing machine at the same time you're in a hologram? Yeah, that's part of the system. Can you be in a movie at the same time you're in a video game? Yes, because it's all connected. It's all connected. And so you'll find out, so what's the purpose for being here? The purpose is to move you to your next state. So every moment is a washing or a turning machine, a Turing machine to move you to your next state of being. And so as you move to that next state, the insights just develop. And so all the objects are object lessons hitting your five senses to bring you to your senses. You'll find out that every moment's the same. There's nothing new under the sun. You've experienced this already 1,000 times, and that's why you think, oh, that's deja vu. Well, it's already happened 1,000,000 trillion times to other people or yourself or at the cross. Everything is a projection from the cross. And so the source code of this reality is the cross. And so this reality is a reflection or a copy machine of your inner man, because your inner man, as you move to the next state, it has to adapt to that state. Look, you remember how you used to think 10 years ago? And let's say you were at this intersection and you thought about this or this or this or your girlfriend or your wife or whatever you were dealing with. And so you had a different mindset. So 10 years later, you come through this same intersection, you're thinking about other stuff. You're thinking about new stuff, or you're looking back, you think about the old way of thinking, and you say, I don't even know that person. So this is why I tell you that sometimes you have to leave people behind. Some people only see you from the old you that doesn't even exist anymore, and they're trying to keep you in that box, whether it's online, whether it's offline, whether it's bloodline, whatever it is. They're trying to keep you in some box that they created for you. And so eventually, because God has a calling for your life, that box has to be broken. And so these people, either they adapt to the new you or they go away. They don't know you anymore. And if they don't want to grow with you and they don't want to rise up with you, then they got to just disappear, because that's not your reality anymore. In other words, what I'm saying is, when you move to a new state and you're growing spiritually, every state that you're in is right. It's a reflection right here. So when you look at that telephone pole as a child, you see nothing but a telephone pole. You don't even know what it means. As you get knowledge about, oh, that's electrical distribution system. But then you grow more and you say, well, that represents faith. Tree, true, faithful, faith. Post is a pole. It's upright, it's faithful, it represents faith. And so as you move to your new state of mind, then even though this out here looks the same, like objects, you see deeper. In other words, and so those people who are still in the old base nature, flesh mind, they got to drop off out of your life, because let's say they were in your, okay, so let's say you've grown 1,000% and they stayed at the 1% growth, and you've grown 1,000 trillion%, whatever you want to call it. Even if you grew 10% and they only grew 1%, and you're sitting here talking to them and you're trying to have a conversation, but they haven't grown. what's going to happen? They're going to try to call you crazy. They're going to say, they're going to try to lock you up. They're going to try to, whatever, but they're still going to try to feed off of you. They're sitting there and they don't even hear what you're saying anymore. So how can you have them in your car? How can you yoke up with somebody, or how can you even fellowship with that kind of person? You can't. They're either going to rise up and fellowship with you, or they're going to just be gone. If they can't rise up out of the miry clay, if they can't rise up to the next level, even though you're showing them, you're teaching them, you're revealing the truth, you're showing the way, and they can't rise up with you, and they can't break those bonds and those yokes and those old patterns and those old way of things, if they can't break those old patterns and move to the next understanding. Let's say you went to church with a legalist. So you used to sit on the church pew with a legalist and talk to a legalist, and you used to get along and everything's fine. And then you broke the paradigm and you left legalism, and so you had to leave that church. Because why would there be a bunch of legalists on a church pew except for the fact that the preacher's a legalist? And so you had to leave that church because God showed you about legalism. It's right there in Galatians, but they don't want to see it. God showed you about walking in the Spirit, that it's not a works-based system. So God shows you that it's not a works-based, it's a spirit walk, and you rise up above that. You got to leave them behind. And eventually you're going to find out not many people can walk the path. It's a path. It's a lonely path many times, but you're not alone. It's not really lonely because you got God and you got a few people that you can talk to along the way. The Pilgrim's Progress, it becomes a narrow path more and more and more. You don't, and it doesn't become narrow because you got to do something. It becomes narrow because you wake up to what this place really is. It's insane. It's just an object lesson. Everything in front of you is a birthing object lesson to move you to the next state. And so, my point is, everything in front of you is it's a movie, the movement of E, the movement of spirit. And so as you're moving through the flow of the Spirit, you're being drawn back to source, you're meshing with the Spirit, and you're leaving the 3D into the spirit realm, and hopefully you'll see all this and learn all this before your health goes down or you get bad health. And so you can experience while you still have health. You can experience the meshing with the Spirit while you still can walk around and have some health, And you can actually see this, and it can benefit you because it's real. It's real. That sign right there says experience matters. So the experience that you've gone through, if you can still be young enough to grab hold of what I'm saying, it matters. Matter. What's the problem? What's the matter with you? Matter. What are you experiencing? EXPRI, out, around. I'm just experiencing it, going around. And I'm watching this, I'm watching this, I'm watching this, I'm watching this. I could have told you. I should have sent me an email. You knew that Alex Jones was going to be fighting with his second wife. You knew there was going to be some trouble. You knew it. You knew. If you would have really thought about it, I mean, like 2 or 3 years ago, I thought, nobody's sick. I said, nobody's coughing. Everybody's like, I noticed that nobody at work was calling out sick. Nobody around me was coughing. Nobody was sick. And I thought, what's up? Are we becoming superhumans? So, another virus had to be released to make people sick because the humans are adapting. People are learning to be healthy. And so in the millennium, they're going to live 1,000 years. And so they have to. So what I've realized is just like the scarcity lie, that man-made scarcity lie, it's a man-made sickness. All these problems man is making. And so the magician priest class is making money off of your sickness, off of your ignorance, off of your fear, off of everything. And so this whole reality is God gave you everything you need, but they want to create the problem to make you stay in the matrix, make you stay in a blinded state, you know? Everything you need right now, God has already prepared it for you before you even knew you needed it. And if you need it tomorrow, it's going to be there. But they want you living in fear and worry and doubt, all that stuff. And when you escape it, when you really believe the Bible, when you believe the Bible above your own belief system, your own culture, your own bloodline, your own experience, you believe that Bible. The Bible talks about the things that are unseen are called into existence. So as my hand goes back here, it's there, right? But you just don't see it. That's how the hologram works. My hand is there. So when you need it, it appears. It's there, but you can't see it. But as it appears, it's in the background. All possibilities are in the background. All possibilities in Christ are in the background. Everything that you ever needed is out here. And so when you need it, there it is. It appeared. Come on now. Somebody got a breakthrough just now. And I know it. They're starting to get a breakthrough, or they got a breakthrough. Praise God that somebody is starting to wake up.